Good morning, boys and girls. This is reading class for Tuesday morning. We are going to be looking at IXL just like we did yesterday. Informational text again, so where we're learning things. It's not just the fun reading like we might do on EPIC. Today we're going to compare and contrast. So I'm going to flip my lens and show you a paper about comparing and contrasting, and then we'll go to IXL. When we compare, we're telling how two or more things are alike. How are they the same? Okay, maybe they're the same height, the same color, the same shape. Okay, when we contrast, we're telling how things are different. So we have to watch for that on IXL today. So here's a paragraph about telescopes and microphones. Okay. Trying to get it so that you don't get a funny thing on it. Okay, scientists invented telescopes and microscopes to look at things they can't see with their eyes. A telescope is used to look at distant objects. On the other hand, a microscope helps people see extremely small things. Telescopes and microscopes work in a similar way. They use curved pieces of glass to make things look larger than they are. They allow people to see small details in far away or tiny objects that they are viewing. So here it compares or it contrasts the telescope with the microphone. Telescopes are used for distant objects. Microscopes are used for small objects, okay? And then here they tell us how they're the same. They used curved pieces of glass to make things look larger than they are. So, used to look at very small things. If I look back in the paragraph, it tells us that microscopes are used to look at very small things. Use curved piece of glass. Telescopes and microscopes work in a similar way. That means they're about the same. They used curved pieces of glass to make things look larger than they are. So both of them do that. Let's see if we are correct. We got it. Okay. So let's look at this one. Let me get this on your screen a little bit better. Okay. All right, here we go. Both snorkeling and scuba diving offer ways to explore underwater wonders. That's a comparison. Depending on which you pick, you can see and do different things. To snorkel, you don't need special training. All you need is a snorkel tube and a face mask. To scuba dive, however, you do need special training. So there's a contrast. Snorkeling, no special training. Diving, you need special training. Scuba divers use a lot of equipment and they need to know how the equipment works. For example, scuba divers use an air tank to get air underwater. In contrast, snorkelers have a different way of getting air. They use a tube that brings them air from above the water surface. That means the snorkelers must stay near the surface, whereas scuba divers can dive deep underwater. So, a swimmer needs special training. Do we need special training for snorkeling? You don't need special training. Do we need special training for scuba diving? To scuba dive, you do need special training. So we want to mark the swimmer needs special training by scuba diving. The swimmer needs to use an air tank. All you need for to snorkel is a snorkel tube and a face mask. Nothing about an air tank. Scuba divers use an air tank. So we would mark scuba divers again. Swimmer needs to stay close to the surface. Snorkels have a different way of getting air. They use a tube that brings them air from above the water surface. That means snorkelers must stay near the surface. Scuba divers can dive deep underwater. So that would only be the snorkelers. Okay. Do you see how I'm doing this? How I'm figuring out the answer? Okay. We're going to read this and then we kind of review it when we're looking for these things, okay? School teachers and professors have similar jobs. They are both responsible for teaching students. School teachers teach in elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools, but professors teach in colleges and universities. School teachers and professors both need special training. School teachers must have a college degree, and they often continue to earn a master's degree in teaching. Professors usually study even longer in order to get a doctorate degree. Professors have to become experts in the subjects they teach. School teachers have a different focus. They learn how to help students learn. Okay, so responsible for teaching students. They are both responsible for teaching students. So we mark professor, we mark school teacher. Teaches in a college or university. School teachers teach in elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools. Professors teach in colleges and universities. So we would only mark professor there. That's a contrast or a difference. They must be an expert in the subject. Professors have to become experts in the subject. School teachers want to, they learn how to help students learn. So that would just be the professor, okay? All right, let's try another one. Let me get that pulled up a little higher. Jazz musicians Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington are essential figures in jazz history. Both were born near the beginning of the 20th century. So they were born around 1900. Their approaches to jazz, however, were quite different. Ellington was known for his gifts as a composer. That is, he was good at, I'm trying to find my arrow. He was good at writing music. Armstrong, though, was known for his ability to improvise or make up new music right as he was playing it. In 1961, the two musicians released an album together called The Great Summit. Summit means meeting. For The Great Summit, Ellington wrote the songs while Armstrong sang them. Okay, born at the beginning of the 20th century. Both were born near the beginning of the 20th century. So we would mark Louis Armstrong for that. We would mark Duke Ellington. Okay. Good at improvising? Well, we know Ellington was a composer, so he wrote music. Armstrong was known for his ability to improvise or make up new music right as he was playing. So that would be Louis Armstrong. Wrote the songs of The Great Summit. Here that tells us for The Great Summit, Ellington wrote the songs. Whoops, that one did not stay. There we go. And now we can mark. Lost my arrow again. Sorry, guys. There it is. Okay, so I think you get the idea. But I will do one more with you, and then you're going to be on your own, okay? Oxen and bison, also called buffalo, are two animals that were often seen in the United States in the past. Oxen are male cattle that are trained by people. Unlike oxen, bison are wild animals. Oxen are large, strong animals with horns. Bison are also large horned animals, but they have thick, shaggy coats, while oxen have smoother coats. Oxen are known as slow-moving animals, but bison can run fast. Oxen were used throughout the 18th and 19th centuries to carry loads and plow fields. In contrast, bison were hunted for food and for their skins. Wild bison are no longer a common sight in the United States, and there are fewer oxen on farms as well. So wild animals. This tells, I lost my arrow again, sorry. This tells me right here, unlike oxen, bison are wild animals. So that tells me that the only one that's a wild animal is the bison. Large animals with horns. Oxen are large, strong animals with horns. Bison are also large horned animals. So that would be both of them. Smooth coats. Okay, bison are also large horned animals, but they have thick, shaggy coats, while oxen have smoother coats. So smooth coats would be the oxen. carried loads and plowed fields. Oxen were used throughout the 18th and 19th century to carry loads and plow fields. In contrast, bison were hunted, so that would only be the oxen. Lost my arrow again. Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay. Okay, I think you get the idea. And for your assignment today, you will do Language Arts D.2. Okay, D.2, comparing and contrasting in informational text. Have a great day.